that they have, but I don't know that
In
it's exactly first class.
and I'm pretty sure our stops are both in Toronto, both of them. So half of me was like, you know what? If I had a long layover in Calgary, maybe I could coax James into driving down to Calgary.
Oh, that's a long way, man.
Hey,
That's like 8-hour drive.
Well, I
One
mean,
way.
that's nothing for him. That's like going to get gas.
Do that
He's-
after work. Yeah.
he's used to 18-hour road trips.
Bob, you can have my citizenship if I can have yours. I'd way rather have Biden than Trudeau. I don't know. That's a toss-up right
I
there.
can't completely disagree with you, Shane.
But, you know,
Sleepy Joe over communist dictator? I don't know.
so Brett, I actually emailed you that itinerary.
Oh, good.
So it should be in your mailbox there. Now, the going home flight, that'll be tricky, possibly. Hey, thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. To help subsidize first class. And you know what? I don't even know that first class comes with meals anymore. And remember first class, you'd go into first class and you'd get meals and drinks the whole flight.
That's where the peanuts went, from the back of the plane. Now that I guess they're up front now.
And I don't know that that's the case any longer.
Yeah.
Hopefully I at least get free Wi-Fi or something. I don't know. So it's going to be a fun trip, you know. We're going to go to Canuckistan and we're going to check it out. So we have a I don't know. I'm gonna call it beekeeper psychology, right? This might get deep, guys. So either deep as in you need to put your boots on, or deep in thought. So the psychology of beekeeping this time of year, right? It's like a multitude of feelings that you get, right? You get I'm so excited for spring. But then you get oh crap, I've lost a bunch of colonies. How am I ever going to make this, right? I need to hire Lucy to sit out front with her. The psychiatrist is in, because I am like an emotional roller coaster. You go out there and you see this colony that's just banging away, right? Looking good. And then you go right next to it and it's a piece of crap. And you're like, what in the world? I did the same things. And then you go to the next one over and it's just dead. I mean, it's just gone, right? So it's like, how do you combat that mentally when you're going into the season, right? You really need to have your mind right, your game face on, and you're ready to go. But like today, my bees, and I didn't get it on video, so you guys are going to call horse shit on it, but the bees were really gentle today, right? They didn't get stung a ton. I did get stung a few times on this one hand, but that's when I took my glove off to take the photos of the frames that I posted on the internet, right, of what I was looking at. So it's one of those things to where you get excited. You have some that are doing good, but then on the flip side, you got some that are just either gone or probably going to be gone by the time the season starts, you know? And, you know, how do you mentally prepare yourself? I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You just got to deal with what you got and go forward. But do you guys look at things any differently? I mean, we have all talked. We were actually on a stream, not a stream, but in the back room a little while ago talking about this. So it was just one of those things that it's mentally challenging, right?
Well, you can't make live bees out of dead bees.
Right.
So accept that. There's always the resources left behind. You have equipment freed up. You presumably have drawn comb. You may have lots of feed resources left over for making splits, etc. You may have pollen resources left there too. So, count that as at least an asset that you have left over. You maybe would prefer that be full of a nice big colony and laying queen, but it's not, and that's a simple fact. It's a tough thing. I've lost a lot of bees in my short career, and I think this year is going to be one of those years. Learn what you can. Try to figure out why those bees died. And vow to do better. And I speak to myself with all of this, because
that's how I feel too. But
I make the same mistakes over and over again.
But
and it's often because I don't take the time. And my biggest enemy is the fact that I'm trying to run as many colonies as I can run, and that number adjusts itself over the winter. If I try to, but problem is it doesn't write itself correctly. It crashes because if I'm trying to run more colonies than I can actually run properly, then I don't just lose the excess. I lose most of it. Right? It's kind of a house of cards. I can build that house of cards as high as I can manage. As soon as I try to manage more than that, then the whole house of cards comes falling down.
Well, the big part with this year is you get in that analysis paralysis, right? So you lose several different colonies, and you're losing them possibly for different reasons, and you don't know why. You don't know what you did differently that is what dynamic has changed, right? I mean, we went all the way back to for me, the only year that I've ever had them all winter, have all my colonies all winter. That sounded freaky for a second, but the only time that happened was my very first year. And then,
Me too.
And that's what I noticed with you as well. So
I'm constantly saying I've got nothing but worse since my first year, and sometimes way worse.
But did you?
So I'm constantly asking, why did I not lose any bees my first year? And I've lost bees every winter since, and sometimes I've lost a lot of bees every winter since. So what's the difference besides the fact that I had 11 colonies my first year, and this year I have 175? I have 175. So what goes along with that?
Well, the funny thing is, you would think it would be, it's not linear, which means if you've got, if you're losing 10%, you've increased your colonies 10 times, tenfold, right? But we end up losing greater than the growth. I mean, obviously you've grown over years, right? So, and that's kind of the thing. Yeah. I'm out there looking at them and I'm like, I don't get it. I just don't. Plenty of food. You open them up, nothing's there, right? Food, whole box of food on top. So they didn't starve. They're just gone, right? And there's no bees in there, so you can't do a mite shake on the dead bees because there's no bees to test, right? So it's just one of those things to where you just kind of guess. I've changed a lot of stuff. Like I fed them up. There's some things that I've already determined I'm not going to do next year. I'm not going to have an extra box on them. They're going to get a single deep. That's all they're going to get. Because I spent a lot of money on feed to fill up a second box of feed. And guess what? All that feed's still there. Most all of it's still there. I took a photo today. They've eaten this much out of the middle of a honey frame, and they started putting pollen all around inside that little hole. And then they've got a little tiny brood pattern in the middle of it. So it's like, they're using the room they have available to them. So I made some adjustments with that, but it's one of those frustrating times that you always, when you go in to winter, you're like, okay, if everything works out good, I should be ready for next spring, and I should have plenty of honey production colonies or colonies to split. And then when the rubber hits the road and it's springtime and they're starting to build up, well, maybe not so much, So now it's like just it just gets a little frustration, just a little frustration in there. And how you deal with that and what you tell yourself. Well, what do you do? Oh, here comes the Skittles. Philip's got jokes tonight. So I will let you know. My wife had to send me this, so I have to share it with you because I'm sure she's watching in the other room. So she wanted to show you the seats from Air Canada first class.
That's pretty swank right there.
So there you go. So there's no extra person slammed in the middle of you, right? So I had to show that. So it should be fun times. Let me see. See if I'm probably missing a bunch here, guys. I apologize. All right, so Ron got his mic and camera set up and ready now. All right, cool. So
I think it's just diagnosis. Post-mortem is the most important thing. That go through those and really work to determine why those failed. Some of those that have no bees at all, a lot of times what I think happens to those is the queen dies a while ago and then the bees just fizzle out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And one of them I thought was dead 2 weeks ago, right? I literally put it up and it was like, I didn't see any bees. I'm like, this is dead out. Closed it back down, came back today because I was trying to grab resources and, move stuff around if I could. Oh, well, there's a frame. Got bees. I'm like, well, they can't be getting robbed out. That's too many bees just in a group, right? Pulled the one frame out. There's my red mark queen. Put her right back in. But, now she's in like a double deep with one frame of bees. I mean, it's like ridiculous. So.
Well, I said earlier that you're going through what I would go through in April. And a lot of our bee colonies die in April because it just gets that long for them through the winter that's kind of the end of them. I always say you get your report card in 1st of May.
Well, I'm D- right now.
Well,
I mean,
I might be an F.
Actually, I could actually give myself a C because this is pretty average for what I would be normally seeing, right? And that's what's been frustrating because I've been trying to overcome that average for the last 3 years and I can't. It just constantly comes right back to where I'm at. And that's the frustration that I feel. And, it's what can you do, right? I mean, it just is what it is. But, I've got some colonies that look really great. But most of them are pretty substandard. It's not like I would do a video and brag about a colony because, some of them, they were just garbage. And I think that's kind of your job as a beekeeper. If it's a trash colony, you need to be able to identify the fact that it's a trash colony, and we've talked about different methods for boosting that colony. And the first thing I told Brad was, but am I taking from a good colony to give to an already dead colony that doesn't know it yet? And if that's the case, I just won't, and I'll just split back. Right.
Right. And that's so important to know. It's so important. And I showed you that little video when I was doing that boost. And the first thing I did was I said, okay, I have to look through this colony that I want to boost. I have to look through it to see if there's something wrong with it. Is heaven forbid there's disease or anything. Or are they just so small that they can't get a foothold. They just can't get momentum on building that nest and building that population. If that's the
Right.
case, she's probably a healthy queen ready to go to town, but she doesn't have the workforce. So that's the situation you can fix. That's the situation you can afford to spend those resources on, because you just have to let one colony give the other one a hand up, and then they're both off to the races.
Well, like the
Because
ground zero
you're
colony,
absolutely right. I
right?
see people throwing good resources into garbage hives all the time, and it just makes me cringe.
Well,
Stop
the
it already.
like the ground zero hive, to me, it's small, right? It's only about half a box of bees, but now it's kind of proven itself that it's sustained itself all winter long, right? And that would probably be a good one for that method you were talking about. Brad's got a video out. Do you remember the name of that video, Brad?
I searched my channel for boost. We call it a boost, and 3 videos came up, and that was the earliest one.
So I thought that was really a different take for me. And I don't know if you came up with that or you got that from somebody else, but
I got that from Ian, who got it from his mentor.
Okay. So the gist of it is it's a paper combine, but you're not really combining. It's a paper equalization of
So think about a paper combined with a queen excluder. This is basically what you're doing.
And 2 queens.
Right. So you put a weak hive over a strong one, over a sheet of newspaper and a queen excluder.
And then let the bees equalize themselves out to the 2
Yeah.
colonies, and then remove the top colony and put it in its new spot.
The only caveat really is the colony, the weak colony on top, has to have a brood nest already, even if it's a small one. If they don't have brood, then the bottom bees will kill the queen in the top. So if they have
then
brood,
it is a paper combine.
and it is just a combine, right? So you're going to have some kind of success either way. I'll try and find that. It's part of a larger video.
Just gonna, while we're here, I'm just gonna share, while you're looking for that, a couple of the photos from, and I've shared these in the No Life Beekeepers Facebook group there, of some of the. This is actually one colony here, and that's one side of a brood frame, and the opposite. Well, where's the opposite side? Hold on. Right here. Opposite side of it was pretty much a slab and laid up. But yeah, so I mean, this colony is doing really well despite whatever odds it's facing compared to some of the other ones. So JW says he's lost 1 of 38. See, and that's where I need to get to, that type of number. But I've lost quite a bit more than that. I'm probably at 50% loss right now.
I'm at 30-ish, somewhere around there.
So, and some of them, in all honesty, some of them that I put up there into the winter, I already was like, they're probably not going to make it anyway, right? So those I think everybody's going to have one that's a little weak that you're just like, probably won't make it, but we'll give it a try,
Well, I told you guys what I went through today, so basically the same thing.
Same thing, just finding.
I found, 5 colonies that had, softball size bunch of bees. And then I found about 15 more that had nothing in them except comb. And that's what we were saying earlier. I think it was Brad that just said it, or maybe it was you, Bob. You just have bees that hang on. The queen disappears, dies, leaves, whatever it is. And then the brood just goes, brood hatches, and then the population will just naturally dwindle, and then you have nothing left. Or
which is what I was finding in a couple of my colonies where there was actually like shotgun pattern brood that hadn't hatched out. And the only thing I could figure is that queen had died. The bees, as they died, those wasn't enough to warm the brood that was left in there.
Correct.
And they just died.
Bob, I
So,
put
yeah.
a link to that video in the private if you want to put it up there.
So yeah, I mean the good.
Post it there. Sorry, Todd.
Sorry, Brad. I didn't mean to jump on you there.
I don't think I can post a link into your video,
There you go.
into your chat.
So the good news is I have plenty of drawn comb, so there is a positive. It always sucks though, but you know, make something good out of something bad, and that's what I'm doing.
Chicken salad from chicken poop, sir. That's what we do every year.
I'm not
Lemons
really.
and
I'm
big
not
lemonade.
worried. I'm not worried. I'm gonna bank a bunch of increases. I'm gonna graft my hiney off in the spring, coming up here, and I'll get back where I want to be. So I hope. Fingers crossed.
Let me see. Did I miss something? So, Aaron, let me go back. Todd, I hope our floaties ready. Have our floaties ready for that flash floods.
Yeah. Who was that?
Aaron.
He's up north. Yeah. The whole state's going to get pounded. LA's going to get massively pounded on Sunday and Monday. Sunday night, Monday. It's going to be a mess down there.
Still on. We just came on.
Who said that?
Nancy.
No. Carl asked me if I'm okay. No evacuations here. It's the whole coast, well, mainly down towards LA. So center of California, the central coast, all the way down to the borders, going to be seeing a lot of rain. So we're fine over here. But I do have my arm floaties on standby.
All right.
You never know.
Got the link posted up there.
Bam, bam. Bang, bang, as they say in San Francisco.
Nukes or weak hives get requeened in the spring. See, in all of these, I was kind of hoping, because all of my colonies got new queens last year, right? So I was kind of hoping that this would be the year that they would just take off, right? But I've never had that. Everybody's just doing great, blowing up thing. So I'm going to look at a lot of different stuff. I'm going to look, and it's going to go all the way back to the direction the hives are facing. Are they getting too much shade? You know, we might get drastic in the bee yard. We'll see. And you know, we're going to see what's happening.
I really think a lot of my problem was poor mating success that the queens had.
Hey,
I could be wrong, but I think.
how's it going?
Hey, Ron.
You are muted, sir.
There
Doug.
we go. How about that?
Doug.
There you
Good.
go. I hear you.
Good to see you.
Finally, I can get on here.
Is Aaron's your first name, right?
Yes,
Okay.
Aaron.
Is that a Saturday Night Live sketch? Hey, Ron.
Yeah,
So you got a good sense of humor. That's good.
yeah. It's that Peel video where he says, "You done messed up now, Ron."
Hey, Ron.
Doug, how's things for you?
Doing good. Like I said, I was chatting on there. I lost 2 out of my 5 hives, but I put on that rocket fuel 3 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and The last 3 hives are very strong. They're holding at 92 temperature all the way through strong.
And where are you located?
Fairfield, right between Sacramento and San Francisco.
Okay. Well, you guys should start having stuff bloom in there soon, right?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it's probably getting ready to start any day.
Bob, when you start figuring out what's going on with your bees, you'll wind up with hair like mine.
Doug, did you put a case of cheesies there behind you just for me?
I'm teasing.
I thought I'd better put up a more appropriate picture here.
The snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was it's I don't know, we're gonna see. You know, I could come one of those colonies already is building drone brood between the frames, like between the boxes. I pulled it apart and ripped those right in half there, right? So yeah, I always get that 1 or 2 colonies that are just exploding, and the rest of them are just like, we'll do it whenever, you know. So
Maybe they
I
have
don't know.
Clarny lines in them. You never know.
What's that?
I said maybe they have Clarny lines in them. You never know.
Yeah, well, I did have carnies last year that I requeened. So going back to the male drone genetics of 2 years previous, right? We would have had carnies. So that might be the carny trait, and we've discussed that, but it's I'm at the point now to where either I'm going to dump money at it or I'm just not going to dump money at it anymore. And, you know, it's been my tendency is to dump money at the situation, right? But I'm just to the point now. It's like every year, if you put $2,000 out in packages of nukes, and every spring you're at the same spot you were before you dumped 2,000 in packages of nukes, then stop dumping 2,000, right?
Well, there's justification there. There's value in that. If you put $200 into a package or a nuke or whatever, prices vary. I'm not saying that they're $200, but the point is, you know, you can put $200 into something, put it in a box, and it'll make you $500 worth of honey. Hey, that's making money. That's not a problem. You can do that over and over again. But, you know, that's just doing things. That's not really learning why your bees died. You're not learning a whole lot, are you?
You learn how to spend $200
some honey. Yeah. Well, you dump them in a box, you pull some honey, you sell the honey. You can make money that way.
Right.
I don't think that's very interesting. You know, the challenge is figuring out how to keep them alive, right?
Yeah, that's definitely been the challenge.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, it's a real head scratcher. When I look at it, Brad, Ian, and me, our conditions are very much the same. Our spring's the same, summer's the same, fall's the same. Last year, Brad and Ian probably had one of their worst years ever. Yeah. We had our best year ever.
Yeah.
What is the difference? I just keep scratching my head. I don't know.
Well, the funny thing is, Brad, it was like for the bees, it was like one of the worst years, but it was also his highest honey production year ever.
Yeah, my yield was spectacular, which is weird, but I guess it's, you know, different. The flora around here doesn't really depend on how the bees are doing it. It'll grow anyway. But the bees that survived did well here, and they collected a lot of honey. But yeah, I agree with you, Doug. But there's different things that affect, I think, that mortality, and we've had environmental conditions affect that, and that's generally very widespread. You know, we'll get a really late. What year was it, Doug? There's a couple of years ago. The spring was it was a drought year. The canola didn't grow during the summer because it never rained. And then the canola was blooming in October. and that killed a lot of bees because they filled the hives with canola honey, and they can't eat that in the winter. I'm condensing, the problem and effect and everything, but that was a record loss. I'm not on a canola flow, so guess what? I think that was 2021, because 2022 was that spring. There was huge loss. There was 55% loss in Manitoba, I think, but my loss was far less than that. It was about 20%, I think, because I'm not on a canola stand here, so I didn't have that problem. But and then everybody else around seemed to do okay in 23, and then I lost a bunch of bees. I believe it was a nosema infection, but my nosema infection shouldn't really be related to anybody else's nosema infection. It may be just coincidental. But yeah, who knows? It was just, I don't know. The fact that Ian and I know each other, I think it was more than just us, but we know each other, and it just kind of was weird that neither of us lost tons of bees in 22, but both of us lost tons of bees in 23, whereas a lot of other guys didn't lose tons of bees in 23. So it is, you're right, it is a head scratcher.
I wonder if it's wintering indoors is contributing to the nosema. Our losses last year was 7%, and 90% of that was in one yard where we had nosema. Because our yards are separate, did that save us?
I would not say that that's, wouldn't be possibly a factor.
I figured this year I was going to run swarm trapping and try to catch as many swarms as I could, and try to get more into the feral, more for like mite resistance, that kind of thing. I don't know. What do you guys think on that?
It hasn't proven itself either way to me. I mean, I make a swarm lure, so hey, swarm trap away. I mean,
I got like,
I know a guy.
Yeah, I know a guy that does that. But the thing is that I collect a lot of swarms. Like, people call me, I got a swarm on my bush, I got a swarm at the brewing company, right? I go and get them. But their success rate has not been any higher than any of my other colonies in my yards. Now, I'm sure there's somebody that has just the opposite of that, but I haven't had any real swarms that just take off and go crazy, But some people, to give you an example, there's a guy here that he caught a lot of swarms this last year. But guess what? Half of his colonies died over the winter, right? And I think he started with 4, went to 15, and then he's halfway. So most all of those colonies were from swarms, and half of his colonies died. So
that's not really proving much then.
Yeah, it's not showing much. Yeah. And that could be different in different areas, So some people, that's the only way they want to catch bees is swarming, and that's fine. But
yeah, the timing of the swarms is everything. I think there's a certain line in the sand, whereas if those swarms are if cast after a certain date in the season, there's no way. And also you have to watch for disease, even mite loads, to bring something into your apiary that you don't know anything about. Could be risky. There was something else there too. But yeah, anyway, those are the things that I can think of for swarms.
Well, I think, I'm looking at Carl's thing here. He says you're shooting yourself in the foot on the swarm lure. No, I mean, you can make swarms make it, but you might have to take brood from another box, and put it in there, give them a little bit of extra love and dedication. You can make them make it, but a lot of people will put, and myself included, I get the swarm, I put a couple frames in there, let them go, and they just don't usually get built up in time.
If nothing else, you know what a swarm is going to do for you in spades is draw comb.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
for sure.
So if that's all you're
Definitely.
expecting, go get the swarm and draw a few frames, right? They'll draw a box of comb for you in no time.
But I said it when I came out with this. This is only a tool to get the scouts to come check the box out. Everything else about swarm trapping is up to the beekeeper and setting that swarm trap up correctly.
Right.
So that's,
Our experience with swarms a lot different too. We don't have the population of beekeepers in the vicinity to have a lot of swarms. If we get a swarm, it's our own bees.
and they don't typically survive the winter.
Yeah,
in the
not
wild.
a lot of feral colonies. They just don't survive. So
No.
you don't have these feral colonies living somewhere and casting swarms summer after summer and time after time. That's just not really a thing here.
Yeah, where I work is marshland, and we get constant swarming out at our work. So I've got the
Yeah.
traps out there right now for those ferals.
Oh, that's good. It is bees, right?
Yeah,
Need bees to make bees. So
yeah, interesting. Thank you guys.
Mhm.
Yeah, if nothing else is interesting. Have you read Honeybee Democracy? Hey, Aaron?
No, I've got that on order. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's the Bible right there for swarms.
hey, and just to let you know, there's a whole video series up on that honeybee democracy on YouTube. I've watched it over and over and over.
It's very much a textbook. He tells it as a story, but he gets into his methodology as well, and he actually gets into the textbook-ish stuff of it to
Got
tell
it.
you exactly what a swarm, not a swarm trap, but exactly what the swarm scouts look for. He's narrowed it right down to the cubic inch of what those scouts are looking for.
Yeah.
And he goes into the things that don't matter, right? I remember he talked about he tested different floors,
Gary's a badass.
Terry's a badass.
Where did that come from?
Come on, Todd.
I have to give Todd credit for that.
That was
I
Todd.
coined that
Oh,
phrase
guy.
a couple years ago on Ian's page. I said, "There's a badass, Ian."
I need
Yeah.
2 shirts. If I've got any shirt makers in the group, I need 2 shirts. One that says "Carrie's a badass" for my trip to Canada, and the other one needs to say "I went to Canada and all I did was scoop Ian's dead bees."
Yeah, Shane's right. He's talking about, I think, open feeding and bees getting together and sharing disease, etc. But the caution that I was bringing up was just bringing in something from outside that you know nothing about, because you
Yeah.
can't. A lot of times a swarm, you catch a swarm off a tree, you're not even getting any brood comb to look at and say, oh, look, this is riddled with European foul brood. You don't know. It's a clump of bees, right? Until you see
Yeah.
that. So a lot of times I know what people do is they'll, when they catch swarms, they put that in an outyard, kind of in a
That way they can kind of maintain and watch them, check them.
isolation, get a few rounds of brood going, then you can start to check for those diseases and whatnot.
Interesting.
There you go. Carrie knows it.
Just so everyone knows, I froze.
We thought you just like to sit there with your eyes closed like Charlie.
Swarm of bees in May is worth a bale of hay. Swarm of bees
Oh,
in June
my
worth a silver spoon, and a swarm in July isn't worth a fly. Go to Ian. Well, Ian
Good
didn't make
quote.
that up. I'll tell you that.
That's from the book of Ian, chapters 1, verses
Yeah.
1 through 5.
That's right.
Bob, you're going to need a third shirt. I survived Manitoba in February.
It'd probably be the warmest February in history.
Mr.
Mark
Miller.
Miller, how are you?
My,
Hi, y'all.
Hey,
Seeing you in
Come on,
ages.
brother.
What y'all up to tonight?
Oh, we're
Same
just,
old-
talking death and dismemberment of bee colonies.
I hear you. That's awful, ain't it?
Yep. Every year, man, I go through the same thing. Eventually, it'll just, I don't know, either I'll get unstupid or something will click, you know. And I don't know, maybe I just need to go back to the basics. I mean, basics, like year one basics, baby in every colony. You know, this year I tried to stay out of my colonies as much as I could to just let them do their thing. And we went back, Brad and I were like, well, you know, the only year that we've had 100% success was our very first year. And that's when you go in it every single day, just about trying to figure out what oh, look, there's another egg, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
My question is, where did you get them bees that first year?
Well, here's an interesting fact. So I don't know. And I'll tell you why I don't know. Is because I got one colony, one nuke from my mentor, right? And then I caught a bunch of swarms. And then what happened was I split them like crazy listening to Barnyard Bees, and then I got wrecked. So I consolidated all my colonies down into 4 nukes, and they overwintered. So it was a combination of swarm bees and nuke bees that were merged down together, and that's what I worked with on year 2, was coming out with 4 nukes. So it's just interesting that, you know, the more you learn, it's sometimes maybe the more we screw our bees up, you know. I don't know.
That's how I kind of got started, is trying to save a swarm at work that we needed to get rid of. And we doggone near killed half of them trying to get, it was underneath one of those shipping containers. And we had to dig down, and we got them out. I was able to vacuum them up, bring them home. And I didn't know anything at all. Nothing. Never even thought I'd ever become a beekeeper. And now look at me. And that was since last May.
Oh, wow.
So a video, books,
So you come into your
forums,
first
you
spring.
guys, everything I could do to try to learn everything, cram it into this big old head of mine, and hope for the best. And now I'm, you know, I got to one point where I had killed the queen, or I think I did, and I had cells on 2 different frames, 4 on one and 3 on the other, and all I could think was split them. So I split them in there. I put one set in a nuke, and the other one I left in the main hive, and they both went out, got mated, and those are the 2 colonies right now out of the 5 that are still alive and doing strong,
There you go.
which is crazy.
Mhm.
You got some competition, Mark. Look
Yep.
Yeah.
out. Big queen producer here.
Yeah.
And that's another
That's-
thing. I
that's
want
how
to
it
try to do
starts.
queens this year. And
That's how it starts.
I mean, I'm
man.
so new, but I'm going to try it. What the heck? Jump in there and do it.
There
I
you
might
go.
have to get the Queen Express going up to Mark Miller's there. Be going
Well,
up.
Bob, I checked all my hives and I don't have any dead.
Well,
So,
you're on point.
none. Yeah, I
Now,
like
when
that.
do you, if you lose them,
This
when
is
do
the
you
4th year in a row. 0 dead. 4
Really?
years in a row.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's not too many people can say that.
No, I'm saying majority of people couldn't say that, I think.
Right. Yeah.
What's your what's your secret? Like, what do you think overall are you do different than everybody else? Because that's pretty rare.
I don't know, Brad. I've asked myself that question. And the biggest problem with it is I don't have any draw cone because I don't have no dead outs.
Boo hoo
Yeah.
hoo. Sucks to be you.
Yeah. And that sucks. Yeah. Now, you know, it's still early yet. They just now starting to bird up.
So I mean, I know you raise your queens and they're pretty special queens. But do you think that I mean, how much of a real difference in that kind of wintering success do you think that really makes? It's got to have an effect, but
I don't
You
know. I just don't know, Brad. I don't do anything different than anybody else, really.
Well, I've been trying to figure out what I did my first year. I'm same with Bob. I had 11 colonies going in winter and 11 come out.
Yeah.
And you said, where do I get the bees? Well, 7 of those were New Zealand packages, and 4 of them were local nukes that I got in June.
Hmm.
And they all made me a honey crop, and they all lived till the spring. And that
Well-
was the only year I wintered outdoors.
Mm.
You're building a case for wintering outdoors.
I am.
That would save you from having to build a building to package honey in.
Yeah, but it wouldn't
Yeah.
save me the money.
True.
The winter wraps, etc. And I was thinking, that's what I was asking you, Doug, today. I was looking at Doug's polystyrene hives, and now this is not a representative winter, though, Doug. You know, we haven't had a month of -40, but I do know a beekeeper who has wintered
that's
in
the end
those
of February.
polystyrene hives, and you know, he had some pretty good success. So I would consider that, using polystyrene hives to winter outdoors. But the expense is there. I could easily put up a building for that money in just buying those hives, just buying those boxes. And the building's going to last a lot longer than those poly boxes. So that's the
Yeah.
decision to make, right?
Well, that's why we haven't jumped in with 2 feet.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
want to see how it works out, eh?
yeah, for sure. And you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. And it's not that oh, indoor wintering is, you know, far superior. It's not. It's absolutely not. There's a lot of disadvantages. However, it's a little more consistent, right? Because I'm not subject. My bees are not subject to. People often say to me, just my customers, you know, they'll say to me, "Wow, it's sure been cold. It must really be hard on your bees." Well, actually, no, it's not hard on my bees at all. It's good for them, because now I can keep the building cool. Because they don't understand indoor, outdoor, that kind of thing. But that's just it. That my bees aren't subject to what the climate is going to do, what the weather is going to do that particular winter. It's always kind of the same. The only thing that really changes is the length of the stay, and it'll change by maybe a month, year to year.
I worry about ours this winter. Like, did they start up again in December in the mild winter we had and brood? And then if that happened, is there going to be an increase in mites? And then here we are, end of January again. Are they brooding again? Are we going to have more mites? Or are we going to go into cold and we're going to have bees on brood that starve in the end? It's this is a scary winter, actually, for us.
Yeah, anything like that that's unusual is,
Yeah.
just an unknown. There's so many moving parts. And again, that's you see so many beekeepers are looking at their bees, and I saw your video, and you're saying that they were making a mess of the snow, and obviously they're flying. Well, my bees are not flying, right? They're not in the sun. They can't see the sun, so they're not flying. They're not getting warmed by the sun, so they're not flying. And so that just brings some consistency to have them in that building, as long as it doesn't get too warm and they start to warm up a bit.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed, all of the bees that were flying, they weren't dying out on the snow. They were all making it back to the hive too, which was
Interesting.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, they often end up laying in the snow.
Yeah.
My wife come home today from my daughter. She just lives right over there. And she said, "You got a swarm of bees over there in that big magnolia tree." So I got on the phone with her and I rode over there, and that magnolia is probably 50 foot high. I looked up, I could hear them just roaring. They weren't in that magnolia tree. There was a big maple tree right next to it, and they were working that maple so hard it sounded like a helicopter.
Oh
buzzing
wow!
over the top. And it is a big maple tree. So, and this morning I thought, well, I'm gonna set out some sugar water and just see if they'll take it. They ain't touch it. They've been busy working maple pollen, so about the last hour they found the sugar water. I guess the maple wasn't producing nothing. It started cooling off a little bit, so it's on here. And the pollen they're bringing in is a gray-looking pollen. I don't know what kind of maple that is, but probably a sugar maple or something.
I've got some red, some different colors of yellow that they've been bringing in. I put sub out in the tube. They haven't touched it in 2-3 days, but they're bringing it in from somewhere.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
put, see, Tuesday I put 2 gallons of pollen sub out there, and I got home Thursday and it was all gone.
Wow.
So they wiped out 2-gallon bucket full 2 days.
wild
So I
mushroom,
guess
Jeremy says.
I guess the maple's just now starting here. February the 3rd. That's early.
I think it's going to be an early year over here too.
Well, we thought that last year too, and then we had that freeze come,
Freeze. Yeah.
screw us all up. Hey,
That
JW.
hurt.
So hopefully it'll keep its course the way it's going right now. And I'm going to try that combined method that Brad was talking about. Not really combined, but more of a equalization.
We call it a boost. Just for something to call it, so that we don't have to explain it every time we want to reference it.
Right. The boost.
Just call
The
it a
boost method.
boost.
See how that goes. Combining 2 hives without combining 2 hives.
Hey,
So-
Norman, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Don't
Share
forget
the love.
less is more, unless it's work.
Unless it's work, and then more is more. That's right. Don't I know that?
Mark, how many hives are you running now, Russell asked?
I'm around 55 or 60. Something like that.
I don't plan to do it, Matthew. UBO. I think Mark might be doing UBO, and Todd may. I don't know.
Yeah, I just got mine in last week.
Mm.
I'm gonna try to do the Randy Oliver might shake breed from that one. Might shake breed from that one. That's gonna hopefully be, assuming I have bees to do that from. We still got a little bit of time. Things can go south in a hurry, right?
Oh, you'll have to.
I'm going to get you on board for long.
Never happen.
You just need to talk to him a little more, Mark.
It'll never happen.
You'll get it.
I sold 10 queens and another nuke today.
Oh, I wouldn't say I wouldn't buy your queens now. I'd buy the queens. But what I'm saying is the thought process that I have has been embedded through college. I saw that, James. I'm not going to, Calgary anyway. I'm going to Toronto. Not driving for an 8-hour layover.
It's not long enough drive, I guess.
Only so much James will do.
I was laughing at my wife, right? Because she was a travel agent for 30 years. And I'm like, I'm going to book these trips. So I started pulling it up. Well, what, don't you want me to do that? No, I've got it. Right. So she got mad.
Got all offended.
She went out of the room, slammed the door, slammed the other door. Well, so I said, okay, well, you book it, right? No problem. You do it. And then, boy, she came in here. Well, I can't do this and that. I'm like, that's exactly why I was going to do it. Because I didn't want to hear that, right? So then she ended up coming in here, and I ended up booking it anyway, right here on this computer. But she was here, so it made her feel part. She got to help pick the seats.
But don't forget
Yeah.
Valentine's is coming up now.
She got a trip to Canada for Valentine's Day.
That's a layover in Toronto, right, Bob? You're not expecting me to pick you up there.
No, layover.
Oh, good.
Layover.
Well, sometimes people think if they get to Canada, that's good enough.
I'm going to Niagara Falls. You got to pick me up there.
You just pick me up in Toronto. Okay. It's a 24-hour drive straight through.
Yeah.
She got her passport.
Passports are in.
So we got the passports, got the Air Canada, we got the hotel reservations. We're set. Now I just need cheesies.
Just need a bag of cheesies and we're good to go.
Definitely not driving to Toronto. Says the guy that drove to Mississippi. Sorry about the Air Canada. What do you mean? I
You'll
thought
find
they
out.
were like on point.
You'll find out.
I'll find out.
That doesn't sound good.
Well, you should have told me that before I spent $2,200 on tickets.
It's Canada. What choice do you have?
Yeah, that's true. Well, WestJet or Air Canada.
I take WestJet over Air Canada any day of the week.
Everybody around me drives across to Minot and flies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
not that far.
I could have just, well, then I'd have to rent a car, right?
No, Brad.
So I'm going to have to go to Atlanta. 3 hours drive to Atlanta. Probably stay overnight. Put the car in the park for a week. Come up to Canada. Then do it all in reverse, right?
Just make sure that airplane's got a heater.
Hope so. Flying first class. So
Yeah.
they better have a lot. It better be $1,000 better than flying in economy. That's all I'm saying. they better have dancing girls or something up there. I don't know. So
You only get there about a tenth of a second sooner than you would have if you was in the economy.
yeah, but I've kind of outgrown the whole economy thing because I can't sit like this for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's what happens to you older guys. That's the reason I got on here to kind of increase the average up a little bit. I thought it was
Make sure the back door is closed and secure.
yes.
not quite as fast as driving.
Take a set of wrenches in case you're flying in a Boeing system plane.
Yeah.
I believe it's a Mitsubishi airplane.
Mitsubishi.
I
Oh dear.
I've never flown in a Mitsubishi airplane that I'm aware of, but I'm pretty
Oh.
sure this thing said it was like a.
I didn't know they made those.
Yeah.
Mitsubishi.
Well, you know what
Hopefully it
my
won't blow a head gas.
Yeah, it'll probably blow a head gasket. It's exactly what'll happen. Or throw a rod. One or the other.
no. Oh yeah, so I will have a Mitsubishi CRJ 900.
Oh,
Oh,
that's a
and-
regional jet.
those
But I
are-
thought Embraer made them, not Mitsubishi.
yeah, it's
And an Airbus A320.
Canadair regional jet.
So I
I've
guess
been in those. I've been in those, Bob, and when I get in that, the luggage compartments are so close together that I can't walk straight down the aisle. I have to turn my shoulders to get between the luggage compartments to go down. And I'm not kidding. I am not kidding.
Yeah, they.
And I have to bend at the waist to get in the door off the ramp.
that's going to be
Not a large aircraft.
it's going to be fun, man. We're going to have fun.
We are going to have fun regardless of how you get here.
Might be sled dog.
It might be, or there'd be no snow likely. It's too warm. We'll have to put wheels on the sled.
There you go.
It's like a toy bus. Yeah, some of those planes, they've really made them very tiny, right?
Yeah.
But
So, Bob, I found out the price on that syrup I was telling you about.
oh yeah,
It's 33 cents a pound cash, 35 cents a pound check.
Mm.
That's reasonable, I would think. It's supposed to be 2 to 1. I don't know. It's product 55. They say it's sucrose. Is it corn syrup or is it sucrose?
so are
I
you
don't
going to
know.
buy it in a tote?
Yeah.
It's like
I
11
gotta
pounds
find-
a gallon.
I'm going to find out more about it before I start feeding it. My neighbor's been feeding it for 2 years. He ain't had no problems.
So that's like about $900 for a 250 gallon tote if it's 11 pounds per gallon.
Right. Is that high?
It's double what I pay, but you know, every place is different, I guess.
As compared to sugar.
Well, sugar to make 11 pounds of sugar syrup would take how much sugar? 5. I
2 to
mean,
1. 2 to 1. Let's see. You put 25 pounds in a bucket, 25 pound of water. That's 1 to 1.
Mhm.
So 50 pounds to 25 pounds.
So you're paying roughly with that. Just use that math. You're paying 20 pounds
It's
or
about
$20 for
It's
5 gallons, roughly, right?
81
Right.
pounds of sugar.
1 to 1. Yeah. And then you figure 2 bags for 2 to 1. So
Whoops, hold on.
About- almost $40.
Yeah.
5 divided by 20. So what that is?
I come up with $61 to make 11 gallons of 2 to 1.
So yeah, you're still cheaper than buying sugar, right? In the bags.
I would think, plus less hassle.
Oh yeah.
Of course, the sugar, I mean, it's kind of convenient. My wife just puts in an order and they deliver it to my front door. I don't even have to go get it. I like that. Walmart
Where do you
delivery.
get the sugar at, Mark? Where are you getting your sugar?
Walmart, they bring it right to my door.
Well, by the pallet.
If I order 10, they bring me 10. What? I don't have to store much because I don't have to go get it. They bring it to me.
Right.
Nice.
25 pound bags?
Yeah.
25? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She does a lot of that Walmart stuff that way.
Do you have rulers where you're at? You have the ruler stores, the Kroger offshoots?
No. Now I buy at Rural King a lot too.
Yeah.
It's in 10-pound bags. It's 79 cents.
You're not
Damn.
too far from me. Where are you located there in Tennessee? Where
In
you at?
Union City.
Or Crothersville?
I'm northwest corner of Tennessee. I'm 5 miles from the river, probably 10 miles from the river.
How far from Crothersville?
50 miles.
Northeast then?
Yeah, go through Dyersburg, get on 51, just stay straight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm about 80 mile north and a little bit east of Paducah, Kentucky there.
North and east of Paducah.
Yeah. Southern
You in Illinois?
Southeastern part of Illinois, yes.
Okay.
You ever get to Evansville? I'm just across the river about from Evansville on the Illinois side.
Okay.
Evansville, Indiana. I didn't know. I knew you was a trucker. I thought maybe you might know where Evansville
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, know all about it. Sure do.
Freight is a killer for us.
I found sugar. What I was getting at, I found some sugar. I bought a pallet of it, and I'm getting ready to buy a couple more pallets. I think from this Ruler Foods, which is an offshoot of the Kroger stores.
Right.
50 cents a pound.
Doug, you're
Okay.
talking about freight. I phoned the Tabor plant and I asked him if I backed a 53 foot up to his dock, what he was going to charge me for a 20-pound or 20 kg bag if he loaded that trailer. He said $41.
It would be.
I can buy it at Costco in Winnipeg at the time for 37
Yeah.
or 27, not 37, for 27.
Well, this sugar I was asking you about, Brad,
that's
you know, about the
Hundreds
beach.
of miles. So who's paying the freight, right? I'd pay the freight on that 53 footer for 40, 41 or 42, 42 maybe. He quoted me. I don't understand that.
Yeah, these stores buy so much more than a truckload. That's the reason why they can sell it cheaper, I guess.
They're loading Costco's trailer. They could load my trailer. Same thing. What's the difference? That's about 1,100 bags. Sorry, JW, I cut you off there.
No, I was interrupting you, but that was the reason I was asking you about the beet sugar and the cane as compared to the cane sugar, because I'm working on an outlet that's got it for 25 cents a pound, you know, in 25-pound bags. If I can get it pulled off, but it don't say on the bags whether it's cane sugar or beet sugar, and you said it don't make any difference, so I'll probably want to see if I can pull it off.
Yeah, don't matter.
I just don't want to run into a bunch of gut problems in the winter next year. You know, whatever I feed, I just don't want to run into that problem. And with sugar, I've never had that problem. So, but with sugar being so high now, I got to come up with a cheaper alternative somehow or another. I've got to do something. Can't keep paying the price that sugar costs at Walmart. It's ridiculous.
Thanks, Robert. Yeah, it's going up. I mean, everywhere.
Yeah. If you secure it now, you'll think you'll be all right. But if you wait very much longer, it's just going to keep going up more. So
I need to go get some more, but I've had a hard time getting in touch with the guy. And then when I did get the new guy's number, I haven't called him yet. So that's what I should have done today. Should have went down there and got syrup, but didn't. You know, same as normal, just hanging out.
Yeah. I still ain't went to Memphis either, but I'm gonna find out more about it first.
Our fuel tax goes up again in April, so freight's going to even be more expensive here.
Everything is going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it. I had an estimate to put a roof on a double wide. I just put a roof on the house next door right before COVID. Metal roof was $5,000. They come over to give me a price on this double wide. I thought, well, it'd probably be about $8,000. No, $14,000.
Yikes.
Yeah.
For a metal roof?
For a metal roof. That's how much it's went up since COVID.
Yeah, everything's out of control right now. It'll go down, though, because it's election year. So, you know, they got to say they lowered everything before the election year there.
The only thing going to go down is our pay.
Thanks, Jay. Appreciate you. Yeah, the pay stays the same. Everything else goes up, right?
And it don't go down. It stays there.
Yeah, that's for sure. 18 for 25 there. So that's still, I mean, that's still quite a bit. I mean, I think I was buying it for, I want to say $13 or something not long ago, right? $13 for a 25-pound bag not long ago.
Yeah, and it ain't been long.
Yeah, not long at all.
I think that 18's Walmart prices around here.
Yeah.
25-pound bag's about 18
That's about right. I do Costco too. Sometimes it's like 19. Walmart 18. Yeah, about the same.
Pre-COVID, we were paying $20 for a 44-pound bag.
That's half price what I'm paying.
That was easy. Well, I
You
mean,
can
it
go-
was still thousands of dollars, but you know,
You can go to like Aldi's and get those little 4-pound bags, but you'd have to get 1 million of them. You know,
You need some kind of machine you could just toss them in to bust them open and dump them out.
just put the paper and everything right into there.
Just grind it all up.
Run it through a strainer, strain the paper out.
Yeah.
That's 300 bags to 1,200 pound pallet. That's what it is.
But yeah, it's yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, either that or we're going to start leaving more honey on. Bees need fiber too.
That's leaving money at the table, though, ain't it, Bob? If you do that.
Yeah, until sugar gets up to $10 a pound, I guess it's always going to be cheaper to feed them.
Right.
Yeah, but all your other inputs come out of there too.
Yeah, that's true.
Treatments and
Everything.
that truck don't run on air. You got to feed it.
Yeah, I got to put an alternator on my beet truck. Ain't got to that yet.
And I'm not going brand loyal here or nothing, but I hope for your sake it's a Ram, because you can do that with one hand and standing straight up in front of the truck. You don't need to lay on the ground or nothing. It's so easy.
No, it's a GMC.
Yeah. Hopefully it's up top like the Hemi. I did one on my truck last summer. Boy, was that ever easy.
See, if Todd would have said that, Mark, I would have gave him
I
a
was
snarky
waiting.
comment. But because I respect you so highly, I won't go there.
I was waiting for that. I'm a Chevy guy, okay? So
Todd, I'm right with you. I'm a Chevy man all the way.
that's
Chevy GMC is the same thing.
yeah.
Hey,
Mhm.
Todd, you know that O'Reilly stock, that's the reason why it's so high. Chevrolet keeps them in business.
Oh,
That's right.
you guys got
Hey,
it
I
on
wasn't
me.
getting into that. I was just saying. I hope it's easy for you. Is all I was saying. Because sometimes they can be easy, and sometimes not.
Uh,
Well, you seen the truck I was looking at the other day? I showed you a picture of, didn't I, Bob? Well, I walked away from it because it was a Ford.
well, you know what? The thing is, I've sold Fords and Chevrolets, and it's like anything else. You're going to get good ones and bad ones.
Yeah,
But, you know,
yeah. I had a little Ford with a 2-wheel drive with a lift gate on the back, and they probably had 300,000 miles on it. Still going good when I got rid of it.
right. That's, I mean, the 8.1 Vortec is a beast.
I've got the Vortec, 6-liter Vortec in that GMC, and it loves the fuel. 8 miles a gallon.
Oh boy.
That's worse than what I get with my 7.3 liter.
Yeah.
2,200 pound tote last year for 38 cents per pound. Where'd you buy that from? Because Mark goes through your area pretty frequently.
2,200.
Oh, that's there's an outlet. I'd let them tell you because I can't think of it offhand. Having a senior moment, but Tom can get back on there and tell you probably where they got the totes at. It's pretty close to the St. Louis area there, though, I think.
St. Louis area?
Yes.
It's a good
I
price.
think.
Finding the tote ain't the hard part. It's finding the syrup.
Yeah.
When I went there, I bought the tote and the syrup at the same time. I went to the dock. They put the tote on the truck. I went over to the pump. He filled it up, and I drove it home.
That's what he
I
did.
don't know what the price of it is, but you do know that Man Lake, has it in totes. It's a little stronger than 2-to-1. They claim, the guys that use it. I've never used it.
Yeah, mine is a little stronger than 2-to-1 too. It's 70 bricks or something like that. Sugar content. So it's pretty thick.
I could be up there in Kentucky about 3 hours, I guess.
I don't know where they work. I don't think every place has it, Mark. That place there in Kentucky, I wouldn't say that they had it or not, but I've got some acquaintance out east that they get it. I think they got another store in Pennsylvania someplace. I'm not familiar with that area, but I think that's where they get theirs.
I paid
I have no
$2
idea
a
the
gallon.
price.
I paid $2 a gallon for my syrup.
Yeah.
So, which is two to 1 or better. So $1 a gallon for 1 to 1. So $5 for a 5-gallon bucket of 1 to 1 when I dilute it down.
I'm gonna see if I can get a route over there and get head back. Is that right there where you live? How far is it?
In
from where you
Charlotte.
live?
It's in Charlotte. It's an hour and a half north of me.
If I could get a load over there and then deadhead back would be perfect. I wouldn't have to worry about another load and throw it on the back of the truck and go. Getting it off the truck would be the problem.
Cayman buys ProSweet, I think. ProSweet's quite a bit more expensive than sucrose syrup, I think.
Mark,
It
are you running a flatbed or a box?
Oh, what now?
Are you running flatbeds or a box trailer?
The reefer trailer.
No, reefers. No.
Yeah, 53-foot reefer trailer. Yeah, I'm working on trying to get me one of them old boxes from one of the little Bob trucks. You know, they take them boxes off, put new ones on there and all.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get me one of them little boxes for make me a heated storage room.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be nice. Already got the racks in it, insulated. Just set it right here by my shed.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about right there, the HF, the 55.
Yeah, but what is it? That's what I want to know. I can't get nobody to tell me exactly.
I always thought the 55 was high fructose corn syrup.
That's what I've always thought.
Yeah.
It's product 55. It's from McRoy's. And I looked up McRoy's and I can't find nothing on it. McRoy's. I don't mind feeding corn syrup, but I don't want the gut disease problems that goes with it.
Well, I think ours is a little bit different because our bees can fly quite frequently, right? You don't even get to where they're not flying at least once a week or so, right? Or do you get longer periods?
No.
So they're able to go out and relieve themselves and cleanse themselves.
Oh, yeah.
I know
Well, how
mine
good
are cleansed and
How
I
good are they going to brew up on it, though? That's the thing. I don't know. I've never fooled with it.
Well, isn't that what Ian uses? I think he's getting fructose. I'm not sure.
It's
Yeah,
not fructose, though. They said it's sucrose. How could it be sucrose if it's corn syrup? Is corn
It's not.
syrup sucrose?
No.
Not, is it?
No, it's fructose. No.
Right.
He has used a lot of fructose, but this year, I think it was this year, he got some sucrose. I hate speaking for him.
Right. Well, I thought that's what he had told me, but again, it's secondhand information, guys. So don't be jumping over on Ian saying, "Where are you getting your fructose from?"
Yeah, exactly. Way more expensive.
When you move
Like
up
the
there,
sucrose.
Bob, and start scraping frames, you can ask him.
Yeah, you have lots of time to stand there while you're scraping frames.
Out in the snow, scraping frames.
Hey, boss, what is this?
Somebody here was boiling their Queen exclusives. Was that you, Brad? You tried
Yeah.
boiling your Queen exclusive? Did that work?
Yeah, it works great. Works
Okay.
great. Yeah. I do the metal ones and the plastic. I just have to be careful of temperature on the plastic ones.
Okay. I got a vat out there. I started working on today, and I put water in it, and it's got 3 or 4 leaks. So I got to find somebody that can either weld stainless steel, or I'm gonna get me some JB Weld.
I
Perfect
haven't
size.
done so yet, but I just started using this product, and I think I would use it next time I clean the Queen excluders. And I don't boil them per se. I run them. I'm going to do a conversion for you too here. 70. So 158. 158. Maybe a little hotter. 160 Fahrenheit. I found that 158 or so doesn't ruin the plastic ones. So that's what I just run them all at in water in my big wax melter overnight. But if I'm to do it again, I would add that washing soda that I started using. It's just that it's found in the laundry aisle. It's sodium carbonate. It's called, and don't get it mixed up with sodium bicarbonate. That's baking soda. They're closely related, but they're two very different things.
One has 2 carbonates and the other one only has 1.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Yeah, put some sodium carbonate in there. Sodium carbonate's very benign to the environment, but it's a very good cleaner, and it'll do a really nice job.
Okay.
Your wax
Yeah, I've got-
melter a Finley?
Yeah, I got it from
Long.
Simon. Yeah.
I was just gonna set the vat up on the concrete blocks, build a fire under it. That's how I was gonna do it.
Yeah, well, if they're metal, then it won't matter. You know, if you get it nice and hot or whatever. Yeah. I cooked. I'd say I spent all last summer rendering old frames out of my hives just to clean everything up. And I couple of months I did that, and my melter was just an absolute disaster. I used my melter as a big kind of a big bottling tank in my extraction process, so I needed to clean it. And I filled that thing right up, and it holds 45 gallons. And I filled it right up with water, and I dumped a half a box of washing soda in it. I run it about 95 C, and that's probably 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And that thing, I drained the water and gave it a quick wipe down. It was sparkly like it was brand new. No kidding. I didn't scrub or scour or anything. It was perfectly shiny clean inside. It's like that stuff dissolved propolis and wax and everything. It's beautiful.
Cool.
So
I'll
I'm a
keep that in
believer now.
mind. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just simple washing soda. It's not expensive and it's easy to find.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The hard thing to find is the time to do it, right?
That's right.
There you go. We use a lot. If you don't know who Carrie is, you're not in the know, because Carrie's a badass.
Yes, sir.
I'm good. Hopefully she's laughing over there like, that dude's coming to Canada. I'm gonna blow
You're
his
gonna
plane up
get
on the
you
way.
right where the nose.
Yeah, don't everybody talk at once. It is a late night stream.
yeah, that's right. So I think Carrie can attest too. I told Ian that story about the melter, and so they washed theirs up that way too, and it worked really nicely. That melter, there's certain times a year I definitely could keep 2 of them busy. That thing was one of the best investments I've made. I just love it.
Did you see Carl's comment there? Or there's somebody, he says, I don't hear it. Somebody says he's getting some. Carl says that somebody
I
got a
hear
TV on in the
I
back.
hear something in the background. It's quiet. It's just more of a pain in the ass. More of a pain in the ass than a badass.
I don't know who's got a TV on in the background. I can find out.
Well, tell her to come on here and learn us something.
It
Yeah,
ain't
well,
me.
it possibly could be my wife. She's on the other end of the house, but she's got a TV on. But
That could possibly be it.
check me out if you can. If you want me to mute.
I'll tell you, hold on. Yep, it's you.
Bingo.
Okay.
Congratulations, you're the winner.
Okay.
But it's no,
Tell him what he's
it's
won.
not
Brad.
bugging me at all. But
Tell him what he's won.
I gotta get one of you guys to go tell her to shut her TV off.
nope, I'm good. I already tempted fate tonight with my wife and the travel agent thing.
Yeah. I'll take the blame. If you want me to, I'll tell her to turn it down here.
No.
Bob was a cat. He'd have 8 lives left.
Yeah, that's it.
I've had the same one for 58 years, boys.
And then Carrie's gonna take one of them. That'll leave me 7 by the time I come back from Canada. James McNally.
How's everybody
Old
doing
Mc-
tonight? I got my
Good.
co-host here.
Mine's not in the room at the moment.
You can't see them, but I'm surrounded by them too.
What's
One
up,
on my
James?
right, one on my left.
It looks like he's eat a lot of mice.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't need a single mouse. He never leaves the house. So, actually, he left the house once, and we spent half the night looking for him. So, but what's everybody up to tonight?
Oh, just hanging out, pondering.
Waiting on you.
Yeah, waiting on you to show up. You're always so late.
You guys need to get a life if you're waiting for me.
Well, it is the No Life Beekeepers chat.
Oh, okay, there you go. So, but well, Doug, I finally found your YouTube channel. I just while everybody was talking so much there, I managed to get a chance to go over and subscribe to it. So,
So what's been going on with you, Mr. James?
well, I spent the day today at the Sexsmith Library with Dr. Stephen Purnell from the Beaver Lodge Research Center. So he did a little bit of a speech there about well, the importance of bees and how bees is starting to be a bit more tied into the agricultural industry up here in Canada. So it was an interesting afternoon. Actually, I had a lot of fun.
Did you get that motorcycle out the other day?
I took it out into the driveway, but that's as far as I went. So and now I could have went riding on it. I just didn't want to have to polish it up after all the water on the road. So but yeah. So today was another nice day. A little bit colder. I woke up this morning, it was minus 9 degrees Celsius here, but it warmed up to 0 again throughout the day. But the weather is supposed to be getting a little bit closer to normal temperatures here. So we're looking at, low minus teens type thing, minus 15 degrees Celsius, minus 18 degrees Celsius, which is a good thing. I'd be happy. I don't believe I'm saying this, but I'd be happy for the return of winter.
It will, right around February 22nd when I touch down. Winter will come back.
Well, you're hoping you're going to make it on the 22nd. If you're flying Air Canada, you might be there by the 23rd or 24th or 25th or 26th.
20 something. Oh, it starts with a 2.
It was so funny. My wife was like, "Oh, we should just drive it." I'm like, "No." It would take my whole week of vacation to drive it and come back. I mean, I would literally go there and grab a bag of cheesies and turn around and come home.
Oh, come on. Alan and I went from Grand Prairie, Alberta, all the way down to Jackson, Mississippi, and back home in 10 days.
Right. And I only have 7 days.
Yeah, but you're only going half as far.
It's 1,861 miles. And you were talking in kilometers anyway, so that was only like 35 miles.
So it's
anyway.
not as far.
It's not as far.
Yep. Hmm.
So yeah, so Brad turned me onto that corner gas, right? Corner gas. And he had me cracking up. And they were talking about how everything is metric except for someone's height. You do it in feet and inches.
Yeah.
And then what was he talking about? Something else. And he says, oh God, I forgot now. It was they were comparing basically how we do with the Canadian dollars to US dollars, right? Oh, it was a outboard motor. And he said, oh, the dad says, how many horsepower is that? He says 15 or like 5,000 metric. And I just started rolling.
Oh, yep.
It's Canada.
Oh, yeah.
It's all Celsius unless you're trying to bake something, and then it's Fahrenheit.
Go figure,
That is
right?
so weird.
Everything bakes at 350. Ask me what 350 is in Celsius. I don't know.
That is
Yeah.
so
No
weird.
idea.
Yeah, gotta love some of those things that our lovely Liberal government have given us.
I drive kilometers, would ask me how many centimeters tall I am. No idea.
I'd have to look at my driver's license to see how tall I am in metric.
I thought Celsius was carbonation in a fruit drink.
Celsius.
Oh, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. See, what else have I been doing up here? Well, that's about it. So went out, swept up some more bees
Yeah, I
out of the
saw
bee
that.
barn. So did that today. So that short should have uploaded here not too long ago. But and yeah, so next weekend I'm down to the Canadian Honey Conference and the tech show there in Calgary. So I'll be down there for that. And then the following weekend, the weekend of the 24th, is a bit of a follow-up weekend from what Dr. Purnell did at the library in Sexsmith today. So a bit of a follow-up, more of the hands-on, the beekeeper end of things instead of the science end of things. So I'm out to do that on the 24th. So it's going to still be a bit of a busy month.
I'm going to take you back to a metric system. Years ago when it first come in, my dad, he always used to spray the crops so many gallons, so much pressure at so many miles per hour. When he got his chemical for that year, it was so many liters at so many kilopascals at so many kilometers. I'm done farming, he said.
Oh yeah.
You know, I was flying when it went from liters to gallons, and there was a lot of bugger ups when it came to fueling aircraft. You know, it used to always be X number of gallons because you had figured out gallons per pounds and so on.
Can
and so
you
forth.
say Gimli glider?
Yeah. Yeah. So there was a lot of issues when that first came out. Regarding making sure people had enough fuel or not. Like it was a big issue. So, what else?
Yeah, the
That's
plane run out when they changed. Well, yeah, it was the Gimli glider. The
Yep.
root of the issue is they were allowed to fly without a working fuel gauge, and that rule changed.
very quickly.
Yep. Yeah, that
Well,
was
James, tell us what you learned at the library today.
Well, I did. I was fortunate enough that I got to pick Dr. Purnell's brain. So after most of the people left, we just sat there kind of shooting the breeze for, I'm going to say probably the best part of about an hour, hour and a half. And I did find out that, who knows how long it'll take for certification, but they have come up with a Varroa treatment that is extremely successful. So now they're just working on the certification end of things and everything like that. So that was very interesting to hear. What else can we go over there? So, I mean, he's speaking down in Calgary this weekend. So, I'm not sure what his speech and everything like that is all on. And I did ask him about those the Appy tablets. He hasn't had a chance to do too much with those yet. I think they're waiting for the spring to come around. But he did look to see what was in them and stuff like that, and his initial thoughts from reading the ingredients and stuff, he didn't see where there was going to be much of an issue there. Now you got to remember too, he is a federal employee, so he works for the government of Canada. Actually, Dr. Stephen Purnell heads up the research. He's the head of research at the Beaver Lodge Research Center. So I don't imagine there's he probably can't tell me too much what they're going on over there. He did tell me the name of that treatment, but it was like this long.
Yeah, they don't have a friendly name for that. Yeah, he presented that last year here, and it's definitely not a friendly name.
I think he ended up calling it something like SCHO37 or some damn thing. Like
it's
that.
like,
you know,
the Illunium Q32 space modulator.
exactly.
You know.
Exactly. So, but he was saying that all of the tests last year were very, very promising too. So, I kind of cornered him, and I put him on the spot a little bit, and I was like, well, what the heck is taking certification so long, and why is it taking so long, and when is it going to be out there? And sometimes this works before this does. And I did mention, there today, it's like, well, I hope it's not like a lot of these other treatments. By the time we get it certified, it's already too late, and we've killed the industry. But I don't think he appreciated that comment much. But he's a pretty good guy.
Oh yeah,
he's a pretty good guy.
He can certainly take it. He can dish it out too.
Oh, he did that as well. Yeah, for sure. So
he'll be here at the end of the month. You'll meet him, Bob.
Yeah,
Steve will be here at the end of the month.
That's what he said. So he's got Calgary this coming weekend, and then 2 weeks he's down to Winnipeg. So really, really good guy. Got a good sense of humor too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much what we're at. My last bit of honey is sold. I'll be delivering it on Monday. So those are the last 2 drums I got. So I think we'll be down to just probably 5 or 6 pails left out there. So that's good. So,
but is it good? Because you still got a long time till the next honey crop. So now you got a 6-month lull in no business.
No. So I still have all of the stuff that is in the 1 kgs, the 3 kgs. So we got a bunch of that already. 1 pounders, 3 pounders, 5 pounders, whatever the heck you conversion is there. But we still have that, so we'll be just fine.
So you got plenty to make it the rest of the way.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, we'll be good. So, but yeah, we've got no snow up here. It's pretty much melted right away. In fact, I sent Brad and Ian a picture of our front yard, and I could mow the front yard, except for the grass. We're out right beside the street where the city plowed the street onto it. I could fire up the lawnmower and mow the front yard if I wanted. It's pretty sad up here.
I could mow mine also, James, but I'd have to put tracks on my mower because we're wet, big time wet.
So, well, they're talking with some of our friends down in Banff. They're down there, and they don't have nearly the snowpack that we normally get. It's been so warm that the snow on the top has actually, like the top foot and a half, was starting to melt and got really wet and heavy. And now is a huge avalanche risk for anybody that wanted to go sledding and stuff up there. And quite a few people that I work with, they usually will jump on the snow machines, or they'll go up to the mountains, and then they sled up into the you know, a little bit higher elevations, and they can't get there. So there is no snow down below for them to even get down the trails. You would you would absolutely be 4x4 with your sled. So there's a lot of guys that I don't even think their sled's going to come out of the shed this year. Like it's probably the least amount of snow I've seen here. Well, I'm going to say since we came back from the territories, and we've been back, what, 15 years? Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, 2004 we came back. So it's been a long time since we had this little bit of snow.
So I take it there's no ice fishing going on.
There's about 6 to 8 inches of ice on the lake. So if you're walking out there, you're all right. We've had a few people try to drive out and fell through the ice. You know, that seems to happen every year, though. Regardless, people just can't wait and just don't check things out. But you know, yeah, it's a strange year up here. We were actually watching with the rain that we had here last week. We were watching it very, very closely because the ice pack coming down the river actually broke. And the ice pack that was coming down the river, we thought maybe might have to worry about flooding and stuff like that. So that usually doesn't happen until April, probably the end of April, beginning of May, usually type thing. But it is strange.
What they call breakup.
Oh, that's what they call, well, breakup up here is, so breakup of the river, but breakup, what we call breakup up here is usually where the frost starts to come out of the road. And it's an oil and gas term that we use up here. So break up here, you just can't get in and out because of the roads, and you beat them all up, and you cause so much damage to the road that they'll close the roads. So, but yeah, it's strange. Like you go outside, and I feel like I should be pulling the bees out of the barn and getting them going, but they're sitting in there fat, dumb, and happy at 4 degrees. So I mean. We'll just let them go.
Has any of y'all seen anything on the long range forecast?
It's
Extended long range?
Well, I mean, everybody can kind of look it up, but they don't know what to think. I mean, I like Brad's comment. They can't forecast what the weather was like yesterday. Never mind long range. So,
yeah, I understand.
But yeah, we're not supposed to get really any cold weather. So, I mean, if you take a look, we're sitting at -5s, -6 for daytime highs, and lows of only -15 to -17. So, and that's degrees Celsius. So we're normally -20s, low 20s, close to -30s. And I literally was walking around out there today the same way I'm sitting here on my couch, my shirt and my vest, and that's all I wore today. So it's yeah, it is crazy, like absolutely crazy. Yeah, the heat is brutal. I literally, I would love to see the cold temperatures back. I would like to see the -20, -25 for about 2 weeks. I could sure use that time. So
We sure had a lot more problem with critters the following summer when we don't get a cold winter.
So when it's colder or when it's milder?
When it's mild, we don't get a cold winter, and then we get a lot of critters next summer. A lot of skunks and mice and everything.
Yep. You got your rat, I see, eh?
Got my rat.
I took 2 skunks out of the yard today.
Yeah.
Like they should be hibernating, but it's warm enough that they're active and after
Brutal.
the bees.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were talking a little bit about that at the library there today too. So a lot of the farmers and stuff that swung by and to see the presentation. That's one of the things they had mentioned. So more skunks than they've ever seen around here. So it's just it's only a matter of time till they take over. I don't think they're, and I could be wrong, most of those wildlife go in a cycle. I don't know if skunks go in a cycle or not, like rabbits. I'm pretty pretty much about 7 years, right? There's about a 7-year cycle for rabbits, but I don't know if there's anything like that for skunks.
We normally take probably 20, 25, 30 skunks a year out of the yards during
Oh,
the summer,
wow.
but never in the
Wow.
winter.
Yeah.
It
Last
sounds
year
like
was-
my sweet corn patch was raccoon.
I took one of them today too.
Oh wow.
See, we're just starting to get the raccoons here in Grand Prairie. So
Oh boy.
I saw them hunting about 3 years ago. But yeah, in the last couple of years, there's photos and stuff like that of them here in the south end of Grand Prairie and stuff like that. So we're just starting to get the raccoons up here.
They're as bad as rats.
We don't have them either. So knock on wood.
This is the best trap I found for coons. So called a little egg trap.
Oh yeah, they work good.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about dogs getting in them. They're dog proof.
Except
so
I
they
can't
get the
I can't get it in the ground now, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be hard with your ground frozen. But they work great in the
Yeah.
yard or
They
where you
sure
got
do.
dogs, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
What else? So tomorrow we're going to start tearing into the auger and the honey pump that we picked up. So we're going to start going through all of that, making sure it's all ready to go. Last weekend, we went through I guess it was a Thunderbolt, I think they call it, like a big, I think it's 30 liter. I think it was a 30 liter mix, commercial mixer that we got our hands on. So we ripped that apart. The sacrificial brass gear was gone inside of it, so they were just going to throw it out. So, Alan and I tied into that. We ripped that apart, so I think we got some parts coming for it. And start getting some of this stuff done.
What did you get for a sump, James?
Believe it or not, I managed to. It's a Maxon 36-inch sump. Water jacketed, so got that for a real good price. So now it doesn't have the baffles, so it still has to be modified. So we're going to modify it and everything like that. So and then get the baffles and stuff like that put in there, and then that'll work out good. I got a couple of sheets of stainless steel to build some other projects that I've got on my list there now. So
It has the flanges in it for the baffles.
it doesn't. So we're going to pull that out, and I'll weld the flanges and stuff like that in there, and set the baffles up. I want it so that it's a bit automatic too. So I'm just working on a bit of a conveyor system so I can get the wax off the top of it into my my wax auger to get it over to the wax spinner. So I don't want to have to stop and scoop the wax off of that every so often. I want it to go automatically. So I think I have an idea for how we're going to make that work.
We used to have one of them. I think it had 3 baffles in the one we had.
Yeah, I think yours has 3, doesn't it, Brad? I couldn't remember.
It has 2 sets, so it has 4 baffles total, but it has 2 sets.
Yeah, one over under, right?
The first one,
First one's under,
first one goes under, and then it goes over.
and
So
then
it's an
under.
under system.
Got it.
Ours were all under when we had it.
Okay.
All
Interesting.
under, so it just wouldn't allow the honey that's aloft to advance
No.
through the sump. Okay,
Got her.
interesting.
Well,
I
there's
think this under over thing works pretty good because it forces everything up, and then the wax has to actually go down in order to. I mean, it works well, but it obviously isn't 100% because there's still a reasonable amount of wax makes it to the end, but it protects the pump. All it does is protect my little 1-inch honey pump.
got her.
You know,
Yeah, we had a 1-inch gear pump on it, but it did a good job of cleaning up the honey. We pumped right into barrels and never skimmed barrels or anything.
yeah,
Got her.
yeah.
Well, we've got a three. I think it's a 300-gallon holding tank that it'll go into. So by the time it goes through the sump, and then we pump it into the holding tank, and it's a heated holding tank. So if we pump it into that, and even if we were to give it overnight and then barrel it, it should come out pretty darn clean.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a big tank, and we'll pump into it all day and then barrel the next day, and it's table ready, really.
Got her. No, that's kind of our plan. That's what we're looking at as well. So that's the joys. So Alan's family used to have a dairy farm. They don't have the dairy cows anymore, but they have the equipment. So this is where that 300-gallon tank is coming. It used to have cooling liquid that they would pump through the coils. We're going to pump hot water through the coils, and then so basically instead of it being a cooling tank, we're going to turn it into a heating tank. So
you can do that with yours too, can't you, Brad?
Yeah, that's right. That's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but no, we're the only thing we're short now. So I don't know if anybody knows of an unboxer, but that's the only thing I'm short now. So, got to get that.
Well, I do know of one, but I just got it, so you can't have it.
I actually, hindsight, I'm pretty sure we may have been bidding on the same one. I think that one was south of Winnipeg, wasn't it, Brad?
Yeah, but I didn't realize there was any kind of competition on it.
Yeah, I sent him quite a few emails before I knew that you were looking for it, and never did hear back from him there. So you, but anyways, I might just have to get some measurements from you, and maybe I'll fabricate one.
It's a pretty simple system.
Yeah, the trick with a lot of that is just making sure that you set it up right, so you have the right length of ram and the right springs to hold the second stage and everything like that. So I don't think it can be too hard to build.
That'll go good with that 28 frame Cowan, Brad.
It would. It would.
Did you get a new one, Brad?
No, just in my dreams.
There's one coming up for auction here.
Yeah.
Oh, got her.
I volunteered to help load it for him.
I wish. Wouldn't do much for me, really. It would be a more of a joy to operate, but it really wouldn't do much else for me, to be honest. So it's just one of those things.
Save the body, the shoulders.
I was going to say, if you want
Yes.
more work, I know where there's a 12 frame that you can use. Take that old girl over
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah, the
What
old
about-
33, boy, she spins a lot in a season, but just keeps going. And the thing I love about it so much is if anything ever goes wrong, I can see what's exactly wrong with the thing in about 4 seconds. There's none
And
of
I'll
this.
bet you-
Why doesn't it run? I don't know. Get out the manual. Where's the schematic? Do you have any parts for this? Well, they're closed.
Well,
You
I was
know,
going to say,
it's
I
on
bet you
back
can
order.
find most of your parts at Princess Auto or UFA or Motion, or I bet you you can source them all locally.
Or somebody with a welder and a thing that'll bend metal and, pretty easy.
Yep.
Stone axe reliable, they say.
But yeah, that's basically what I've been up to up here. So hurry up and look outside, and I feel a little bit guilty that I shouldn't be doing a little bit more out there with weather like this. But every morning I wake up, I'm waiting for Jack Frost and Mother Nature to be knocking at the door saying, "We're here."
Yeah.
We're back.
We had freezing rain last night. My
Oh.
driveway was a skating rink.
Nasty.
I saw that. I think we're getting a little bit of rain right now, to be honest.
Well, it seems like the weather we get is about 3 days ahead of hitting you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Yeah. Doug's about a day and a half ahead of me.
yeah.
Todd's the one who's supposed to get the weather, aren't you, Todd?
It's coming. I'm looking at the radar right now. It's right on my doorstep.
Yeah, I'm watching it also. It's right in San Jose. It's getting pummeled right now.
Yeah. South Bay. Yeah.
I
Not
got
as
my
bad as
floaties
LA,
in my
though.
boat.
What's that, Aaron?
I said I got my floaties in my boat ready to go.
Yeah, you need arm floaties. Those
I had to
poor
get all
people
my
in
bees life jackets. You know how hard it is to put a life jacket on a bee?
Yeah, because we put sweaters on ours.
How do you get the toques to stick?
Yeah.
You got to get Bob a toque, Brad. You know, a big
Oh,
red
definitely.
Bob and Doug McKenzie toque.
I
I need the hat with the ear flaps, the strap underneath it.
You need to make sure you got your change of underwear in your carry-on, Bob, because you won't get your luggage till you're at home.
That can happen. Yeah.
You know, but actually, the last time I drove down to Jackson, Mississippi, I got home quicker than I did the last time I was supposed to fly out of Atlanta, Georgia. So it took me 3 days to get home out of Atlanta, Georgia when I was flying, and I drove home from Jackson, Mississippi in 2.5.
That's pretty sad. Yeah, those poor people down in LA, they don't know what's going to hit them. It's going to be mass hysteria down there.
Yeah.
They don't know how to drive when one drop of rain hits the freeways. It's going to be, I'm not kidding you. It's going to be arc weather.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
That cracks me up.
they're going to need an arc. That's what they're going to need.
It happened when we were flying down in Seattle. So we used to go down to flight safety in Seattle for doing our flight training. And we woke up one morning and there was a skiff. Like I'm talking 1/4 inch of snow on the roads down there. And they shut the city down. Like nobody in Seattle was moving. And we're downstairs at the talking to the shuttle drivers like, well, we got to go. Like our booking for the simulators is between here and here. And she's like, I'm not driving out there in that shit. And she says, you guys want to drive? Go ahead. So she's sitting in the back and we're driving the hotel shuttle down to flight safety. And she thinks we're all nuts. It's like, I don't know how you drive in this. But yeah, nobody was moving. We got to flight safety. She sat in the entryway there in the foyer, reading magazines and stuff in the waiting room downstairs while we were in the simulator. And then of course we drove back and there was no way she was getting behind that wheel. She was absolutely dumbfounded that we could drive in 1/4 inch of snow.
We get at Colorado Low and Winnipeg. We'll get 1.5 feet of snow, and what does everybody do? We all go to the movies.
Exactly.
Oh no, you're not going to stay home. Let's go out to dinner. Let's go out to the movies.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
We had a neighbor a person from England, a family bought the farm next to us. And when it rained, they wouldn't drive on the gravel road.
Oh yeah, yeah. I used to work in Vancouver, and when it would rain, like it would rain kind of hard sometimes in the winter there, people that would walk to work wouldn't come to work.
I'd never leave my house except for this year.
We get an inch of snow, it ain't no sense in going to town because they done bought all the groceries out of the grocery store the day before. There ain't nothing in town.
Oh man.
When I lived in Missouri, we knew these storms were coming in. You go to the store and it's like everybody, pushing shopping carts full of stuff. They're grabbing it off the shelf, throwing it in there. By the time you get there, everything's gone. Can't find anything. Milk, just the basics. They go through them so fast. And then nothing happens, right, Mark? It's sometimes that weather back there. Nothing happens,
Yep. Yeah, all my guys, they sell all that sausage stuff a couple of days before it hits. And then the week after, they're like, man, I ain't going to make no money this week at all. Ain't nobody buying nothing.
Yeah.
I
Everybody's
had one of the
pantry's full.
southern beekeepers ask me about our winter. What's normal and what's normal for snow? I don't know. Do you, Brad?
What's normal for snowfall here?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I don't know that statistic.
So
It's normal to have it, right?
if
Oh,
you were going to ask me what
yeah,
normal
guaranteed.
would be, I'd just say lots.
It's yeah, I don't know. I should look that up. Like, I don't know. I'd say normal would be I don't know, a couple feet maybe.
I thought we run from kind of poor sledding to really good sledding.
Poor sledding to really good sledding. Yeah. That's about it. This is a poor sledding year.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
definitely a poor sledding week. You could run your quad everywhere up here. You don't need a sled, just run your quad. So I can remember as a kid though, we used to jump on the snow machine and you would go, over the neighbors, over top of the barbed wire fences, and you didn't even know they were there. So can't do that now.
drifts. Yeah, drifting can. I mean, that's a totally different deal. Because you can have a foot of snowfall in an 8-foot drift.
Yeah. Well, that's
Well,
what they do up in the territories. When I lived up there, you never could figure it out. So you would go in, in the middle of summer, and you're looking up at these houses, and it's like, why the hell is there it's like a balcony, but there's no handrail there's handrail on both sides, and then it's just wide open. It's like, geez, like, why do they have that? And then of course, it snows and it starts to drift, and you get up in the morning, you open the bottom door, and it's drifted right in. You go up top, you open up that door, you walk out onto the drift, and you go to work. You come home, and the wind has changed, and you walk back in the bottom door. One whole story, and that's the honest truth. Like the snow, it'll change by 10, 12 feet just in a day. Like it'll drift in and drift out, drift in and drift out.
Well, we had lots of snow last winter. I was sledding over top of trees, but you get these road allowances that have trees, and then you've got a mile of open field. It just drifts in right at me, buries them, eh?
Yeah, the field is bare and it's all on the
Yeah.
road.
You guys
Larry,
must
that'd be about third week of March, probably. Maybe the
Yeah.
second week, the way it's going.
You guys have pollen coming in down there yet?
So I know you
Oh
don't.
yeah, today was big time.
No, so things are going to start happening down there then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it don't turn off cold again.
Well, last year you guys had a heck of a frost that killed a lot of it all off, eh?
Yeah, it's gonna be a dragonfly summer though. We ain't been cold enough to kill nothing. So the dragonflies are gonna be thick come June.
Well, I just looked it up, and over the last, I forget what it said. Over the last, from 1981 to 2010, the average snow in Winnipeg per year was 44.8 inches. So just
So
under
just about
4
4
feet.
feet.
So I was half right. I was half as far as what it really was.
That's yours, Bob?
That was today on one of my colonies.
Well, I'd say they're ramping up.
That was the other flip side of the same
Giddy
frame.
up.
And are you still? You don't have pollen patties on them still, do you?
I do.
And are they taking it or are they bringing it in?
Both.
Oh, good.
So
Wow.
there's some eggs there.
Zoom it in.
I don't know if it'll let me do it on. I can. Which one you want to look at? This one?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on.
Can you zoom it?
I can now. For you, I will. Eggs. Oh, is it not showing it? Damn it.
Nope.
Of course it wouldn't. All right.
Looks like you got some larvae in there, not just eggs.
Oh yeah, got a little bit of everything. There you go. This will be better for you.
So have you checked with, say, Sam or anything like that over there, Bob? Like, is his brooding up, or did it make a difference with you putting the pollen patty and the feed on there earlier? Or?
Well, he just puts a little dollop of pollen patty on. I was putting whole patties on, and I mean, now my colonies, as usual, as normal, are not consistent at all. Right? They're just all over the damn place.
I'll do some equalization on them.
Right.
And let me see if I can. So let me download this one.
Go all Robin Hood on them. Rob from the rich to give to the poor.
Mm-hmm.
Open this one up. There you go.
Oh, you got some bright red pollen and stuff coming in, eh?
Loaded with pollen.
Yeah. Well, if you notice, you got very few cells here because this is all feed, right? And they're just backfilling it right up. So I went through today and kind of maneuvered some frames around to make sure they had laying room, and did some things,
Any drones showing up yet?
Yes, this colony in particular, you can see I have pollen patty right there, but in particular, in between the two boxes, they had drones on top of the bottom frames, right? So they're
How far along was that larva?
oh, it was capped and already. They were pretty healthy larva there. I couldn't tell once I ripped it open, right? It was kind of hard to tell, but yeah, most of them were doing pretty good. They were actually pretty nice today, except for one hive. One hive was not too nice, but it's the same issues that I've been having, where you get a couple colonies that are just off the charts, right, doing good, and then you've got just the opposite of that, where it's like, how are you guys even still alive?
So have you marked those colonies that are doing good?
Yeah, it's not hard to mark them. I mean, they're towers, right? I mean, they're.
I was just going to say, because that's probably where you want to start selecting your genetics from then.
Put a break on them, Bob.
Mark the genetics. Those ones that made it through the winter and are doing really good. Mark those so that you know where to graft from.
And yeah, so that's going to be the thing, is I'm just going to kind of do the Randy Oliver, do the test, low mites, made it through winter. That's the grafting colony, right? So, and they, based on what we've been watching, is that it takes a couple years of consistent requeening with the genetics that you want, because of the drone. I'm going to call it the drone lag, right? The drone's genetics lag behind that of your newly mated queen by a couple of years. So, hopefully the drones from this year, or from my queens from, obviously from last year, and just try to keep it up, be consistent. So we'll see what happens. That's all we can do, right? Just keep plugging forward.
That's a good plan. I think that's an excellent plan.
It's the only plan. It's the only one I can have.
Well, I think that's a fantastic system, because if you can run mite washes, you can use that system. And that's as complicated as it is.
That's true. He has narrowed it down pretty much to doing lots of mite shakes, right? Mite washes, and just continuously graft from the most mite resistant colonies you've got, and work from there.
Well, if I were you, I would pat myself on the back, because early on last year, when you got all them nukes, you were just loaded with mites. and you got through that. And I'd pat myself on the back for that. That's a lot of people would have lost everything.
Well, hey, I started with nothing. I got most of that left, so we're good.
Well, I mean, so you figured out how to kill the mites, right?
Well, so far so good. I mean, you're always going to have some, right? So just trying to let the bees control them as much as I can and treat as necessary and let it go.
You've got those beetles too, and we don't have that, thank goodness.
Yeah, the beetles, I mean, today I saw some beetles in some colonies, but for the most part, I've been able to get them in check with those bottom boards. So, yeah, there's no silver bullets out there, that's for sure, with those things. So,
James, you were asking, I'm in Southern Illinois, and I walked through two of my smaller apiaries this afternoon, and yards or whatever you want to call them. And I actually seen some drones, on the landing boards. I don't know where they was coming or going, where they was trying to get rid of them, but there were drones on more than, several landing boards had drones on them.
Well,
I don't know what's going on. We're early here also.
Yeah.
How about you, Mark? Have you seen any drones down your way?
I hadn't really paid that much attention.
I was just checking landing boards this afternoon, walking through yards, and that's what I come up with.
Yeah.
Surprised
Well,
me.
if you got drones hatching, you got pollen coming in, you can always substitute the nectar.
Yeah.
I'd be tempted to start thinking about setting up, your starter colonies or starter finish colonies, and start making a plan for that.
Well, we're scared.
I don't have the brood for that yet. I don't know about you, JW.
No, I don't have brood. I haven't been in them deep yet, but my double deeps and my top boxes don't have brood in them. The bottom.
I've seen what Bob had there on that frame. He's not far away.
Yeah, but not all my colonies look like that one, which is
he's 2 weeks ahead of us at least. Probably a little more.
Which is that's the thing I struggle with. It's the same thing I struggled with last year, right? Is we went through great lengths to try to ensure that the colonies were all equal, and then this time of year, they're nowhere close to equal. I mean, I must have some of my queens that I mated last year, I think might be retarded. I mean, I don't, I don't know. I mean, they've made it this far though, so that's saying something. But, again, I had carnies too, right? And there's still those genetics in drones that were flying around. So they could just have that carny trait where they get down small,
And then look out. When they decide to go, they're going to go.
Well, I could send you some of my IQ tests for bees down there, Bob. You could check them out and see which ones is the dummies and which ones are a little smarter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some of them seem to get it really well. They just boom, blow right up, and then other ones, not so much. But we did some things today. I mean, I was shaking bees. I shook some bees down. I actually put a queen excluder on so get the brood out of that medium they were laying in, right? They've got room. They've got stores. I mean, they're not starving. If they're dying, it's not because they didn't have food. It's another reason.
You have to make them think there's a flow on.
Well, that colony is one for sure. So, I mean, there's a little bit of nectar coming in. I don't know what they're getting it from, but there's a little bit of one because there was nectar in frames, right? Just in cells. So, we'll see. It could just be the Camilla bushes. I don't know what they're getting it from, but they seem to be going to town in that colony for sure. So I thought about doing maybe not a paper combine, but do some boosting for sure. and trying to start to give my weaker ones a little bit of extra foragers or some workers or something to get them going.
Just be careful when you do that. That if you're going to pull a slab of brood out of one of your strong hives, if you're going to drop it into a weaker hive, make sure they got the bees to keep that warm. If they don't have the bees to keep that warm, you're going to go backwards. So,
Right. Yeah, that's the.
now what you could do when those bees start to hatch out, you could shake them on the front of the colony. The older bees, the field bees, will once again fly back. The younger ones are going to walk into that colony, and you can give them a boost that way. But if you're gonna change sheets of brood, just make sure that they've got enough bees in there to keep that brood warm.
Right. Well, how long we been going? 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's midnight Eastern Standard Time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the live portion of this stream, and I'm going to let this cat out of this room. So
Well, let it out of the bag. That's the problem.
this is a messy room. Everybody knows that, but you see the cat is just sitting there looking at the door. Oh, you may not. Right there. Sitting there like, come on, fat man, open the door so I can get out of here. So, but we appreciate everybody that stopped in. We still got 74 people watching on this late Saturday evening, now Sunday morning for me. And we'll see you guys on the next live stream.
Have a good one, everyone.
Have a good night,
I'm
everyone.
gonna try to stay dry.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Yeah.
Ride safely.
Stay dry.